Real quick, let's focus on England. We throw the term around all the time, fracaso. Is this a fracaso for England going out in the quarterfinals?
Yes.
Even against the favorite, France?
Yes, because of the circumstances of this game.
Okay.
You were the better team. We all had this as a 50-50 type of game. And during the game, exclude the score. I know that's very difficult to do, but exclude the score. You were the better team. And you had the opportunity with about 6-7 minutes left to equalize the game and take it to a place where France had no business of going and didn't want to go. This is a huge opportunity missed with this generation. Coming off a semifinal in 2018, coming off of finals in Euros, at the Euros in 2020, to now, massive opportunity missed. If what you have to hang your hat on this tournament is a good performance that you lose versus France and a win versus Iran and Wales, and you couldn't even beat the United States men's national team,
I mean, they
that's a bitter pill.
They pounded Senegal in a round of
Senegal.
16, 12 goals in the first 4 games.
And Senegal. So you came up against your first big team, your first real task,
Right.
and you lost. You played better then, but you lost, and that's what people will remember.
I think of Gareth Southgate, and surely he'll be criticized for this, as all managers who go out, are due. That's what happens. That's why we exist. But just think of what he's accomplished, right? And think about the fact that there was a long time when the quarterfinals were basically the high watermark for England at World Cups. Semifinals in 90, and then from then on, there's kind of a drought.
Yeah.
Suddenly in 2018, they make the semifinals. People will point it was the side of the bracket.
Okay.
Then European Championships, they make a final. People will point out it was at home. They've come here. They've impressed, but ultimately they do go home in a quarterfinal. To me, fracaso seems harsh. And I know you're saying it because of the way they played. I'm saying it's harsh because of the way they played. They went up against the team that most think
Where'd
is
they go out?
They go out in the quarters. I mean, but do you think England's a top 4 team in the world?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes, they were one of the tournament favorites leading into this, Sebi.
We'll have to look at it depends what odds maker you're looking at, because it was very clearly Brazil, France, Argentina were where the money was at.
Ask me if they're top 4. They were definitely top 4 tournament favorites.
Okay, tournament favorites, but you think on paper they were a top 4 team as well?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Overwhelming. They're the deepest team in the World Cup. Overwhelming talent. Deepest roster in this World Cup belongs to England. The generation right now that is they're very prime, that was expected to do something, a run, is England. They go out in the quarters.
Yeah. Still a future for England, I think. This is
I'm not saying
not like a Brazil where we kind of see them the end of an era.
There's always a future for Brazil, too.
Well, okay, surely. That was a bad comp. But still, an older team compared to a younger
Croatia,
team.
who's coming off a 2018 runners-up and now right here. Probably not going to be the case next World Cup, right, because of the ages and whatnot.
Yeah, real quick, I'm just looking up the updated odds for the tournament. France plus 105, Argentina plus 150, Croatia plus 750, Morocco plus 1,000. So the order you had is right, but a massive gap there between Argentina and Croatia.
Croatia at 750 looks tasty.
Why don't we take a look at some numbers from Harry Kane, who, of course, scored 1 penalty, but missed the second today against France. He is England's all-time top scorer with 53 international goals. Tied with Wayne Rooney for number 1 on that scoring list for the 3 Lions. For more reaction from England-France, why do we head to outside Al Bayt Stadium, where Alexis Nunes is standing by. Alexis, let's start with the sad stuff first. What are the England fans saying? What's their reaction, and do they feel like this is a fracaso, as we were just saying?
Good question.
Yes, Sebi, it is a cold and windy night here at the Al Bayt Stadium. The perfect setting, some would say, for an England win. I think we're only just missing the rain, and it would have been perfect conditions for England, but you're 100% right. Herc, I agree with you. This is a fracaso total, o sea, total, because we talk about a golden generation of England players. We talk about a manager that trusts and understands his players. For all the criticism that he gets, the players 100% 100% have his back. He has their back as well. They've been building for years and years now. We saw them flirting with, you know, I suppose greatness, or what could have been greatness at that World Cup, only to go out against Croatia. Then the Euros, which we thought was going to be the perfect setting for them to at least take home an international trophy, up against an Italy in your own backyard, an Italy that was questionable as well. And then now everyone said, I was there for that Euro final just last year, and everyone, I think, just immediately were quick to switch off talking about the Euros and said, look, let's calm down. The World Cup is next year. If we can get to the final of this Euros, we can definitely win this World Cup. And then they were looking at the draw. They were looking at how things were shaping up today, seeing Portugal crash out, seeing Brazil crash out on the other side as well. They would definitely fancy their chances against Morocco. With the most respect to Morocco, we talk about how deep this team is, and still here we are once again wondering what could have been. And we know, I keep talking about this golden generation, as we do talk about with the USA. And what everyone is now starting to worry about is, how can we not make this become like what's happened to Belgium? Again, a golden generation, again littered with talent, again expecting them to win big things and dominate for a number of years, and then it's just still not there. 3 back-to-back massive international tournaments, and 4 years now you're gonna have to wait. And I've just seen some of the reaction from back in the UK. You know, I live in London, and let me tell you, it is just absolute heartbreak and shock. And last year when I witnessed them lose to Italy in that Euro final, it was heartbreak, but it wasn't as much shock, because England fans, I would say, they're definitely pessimistic. They don't like to get ahead of themselves. They will talk to you about all the years of hurt they've experienced in football. They tell you they don't expect anything, but this last year, they've expected a lot, and rightfully so. You look at that bench alone could be starting 11s for almost any other team who wouldn't really take them. Now everybody's wondering, should Gareth Southgate have brought on substitutions more? You would wonder if Raheem Sterling should have started, or Marcus Rashford. You're wondering, Harry Kane, should he have taken that second penalty? We literally just spoke to a couple of England fans, and they said, it's Hugo Lloris, he knows him quite well, maybe he will know, and then maybe the pressure got to him as well. Everyone's going to take this game apart with a fine-tooth comb, because they thought this was their best chance. The It's Coming Home songs have been sung so much this week, because this France team, we spoke to Julien Laurens, and he said that he felt like they were Kylian Mbappe dependent. I was the only one on FC that actually picked France to win this one. Jules switched in the end and said, look, I'm genuinely nervous, because this England team has everything to take it to France. They can switch styles, they can sit back, they can dominate, which they did to a certain extent as well. And it's so confusing and heartbreaking to go out of a game where you felt you were the better team, you had the better chances, so to speak, and yet you still lose to a France team where Mbappe was not the star of the night, that didn't have Paul Pogba, didn't have Karim Benzema, didn't have N'Golo Kante, and yet England fans now are looking for their flight home. So this is 100%, I think, a massive failure for Gareth Southgate and his men. It's going to be seen as that back in the UK, surely, and I think that this one is going to hit them harder than the last two that we've seen.